Welcome to Nobody Asked for This, where this is one of the special interview episodes that's going up while we're away from Athens on break, no school. So I'm here with Kenny. Yeah.
That's me.
That's it. That's Kenny. So, Kenny.
Yep.
What have you got for me today?
Okay. So, before I start talking about it, I actually wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Because you hadn't heard Mac Miller.
No.
Very much before.
So, is this going to be the substitute for the Mac Miller episode of the podcast?
Yeah.
Because I listened to Swimming and then I listened to this.
Yeah.
Swimming is way better than this.
Okay.
I like Swimming
Okay.
a lot. Like, it's good.
Okay.
This album is called Watching Movies with the Sound Off.
Yeah.
I got the title right.
Yeah.
First time for everything. So what, how, where, when, who?
Okay.
Start with who?
Who? It's Mac Miller.
Macklin Miller. Mr. MacDonald Miller.
Just don't call him Macklemore. He has a
Oh,
song.
no, that's rude. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that is rude. Because, like, one of them has talent and the other one...
Made thrift shop.
Made thrift shop, yeah. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, so let's start with the obvious.
Yeah.
Mac Miller,
Watch Movies with the Sound Off. He put it out in, I believe, 2013.
Yep. That checks out.
Which is about when I found it.
So 2013 would have been 8th grade?
8th
Yeah, that sounds right.
8th grade? Okay.
Sounds right to me.
Okay.
Maybe freshman year of high school.
It was not freshman year. I know it was at least middle school.
So
I don't remember
must be
when.
8th grade then.
Something like that, yeah.
Sounds right to me.
I'd been actually found him because of The Way.
Oh, that was not what I thought you were going to say.
No, but
so what is The Way?
The Way was a song way back.
The Way Back.
Him and Ariana Grande back when she was like, she used to have this thing where she would like pretend to be innocent like during her like Disney days. So she would get a rapper on. That would
when
be,
she was on like Victorious.
Yeah, so she would have like kind of like implied sexually meanings in songs, and she'd have a rapper on that would be like the bad guy and he would be the one, and his flow and like just like his delivery of it was nothing I'd ever heard of before. And so one night, I don't remember why I remember this, but it was winter. It was me sitting next to the we have a wood burn fire in our house, and it was me just sitting next to the fireplace feeding the fire and listening to Mac Miller for an entire night. That's by awesome. Myself. That's awesome. And he had, or everything before this, he has more of like a college rap persona, which I think is what you've heard of, like Donald Trump.
Yep.
Like Party on Fifth Ave, Best Day Ever, kind of. The mixtape, it is definitely. He used to call himself Easy Mac. I think this, for me at least, is the like defining moment that shifted from him being like Easy Mac, college rap, Pittsburgh dude, to something more mature. Mm-hmm. Even if you go back to listen like Blue Slide Park, it's a lot of that, which isn't bad. It's like you might think like Asher Roth, like I Love College when you hear that, but he spent more time into it, but it was just a high school kid kicking, shooting shit. And he released this album around 20, like maybe 21.
He'd have been 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is like really close to my age.
Yeah.
So it's become even weirder the older I get, being like, holy shit, like he's almost as old as me when he put this out.
That is weird to think about.
it's a lot more mature of a project than his older stuff. He's not rapping about like Kool-Aid and frozen pizza anymore. He's rapping. An interesting thing to me about this project is that he has this dichotomy going that he kind of had before in like Macadelic, but he definitely kept up through the rest of his career. Which is this dichotomy of like rap and like the braggadocio, like male bravado, combined with like a sense of incoming mortality. And he was very aware of and in touch with the fact that everyone was going to die. Almost regardless of what the song was. It doesn't matter if it was, and it's on every album ever since. Like his, this was his sophomore album, his last independently released album. His next one was like a major studio production, Good AM, and in that he talks about, or he mentions mortality in that. In his Love album, he talks about like meeting God on Soulmate, the Divine Feminine. Just if anyone hasn't heard it, which you haven't.
I have not.
And then Swimming, it's peppered throughout.
I feel like it was a little more than peppered throughout on Swimming, but maybe I just took that as, because I listened to that.
Yeah.
Well after Mac Miller had passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, and he died in September, I believe, and Swimming came out August 3rd, so like it was about a month.
Yeah.
Period. You said you didn't like this album as much as Swimming.
I did not like it as much as Swimming, but I feel like Swimming is kind of a high bar.
Yeah.
Also a tough act to follow because I listened to Swimming first.
That's fair.
Because I didn't know that this was going to be more grown up. I was expecting more like Donald Trump.
Okay.
Because I figured this was like old enough that it would be still in that era.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to listen to, something good and like mature before I go back and listen to like some weird party rap album.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't that at all.
And then the Star Room started.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing.
No.
From what I can tell, everyone that likes Mac Miller likes either, or their favorite album is one of the three, what I call the Holy Trinity, which would be Swimming, Watching Movies, or Faces, which is a mixtape, which is 24 fucking songs long.
Oh my god. How is that even a mixtape? That's...
He makes so much music. Like, I have... Christmas came early for me, at least, and so I have been just downloading all of his leaked songs, and he has at least albums, plural, of unreleased music that he didn't ever put out. Like, he famously made an album with Pharrell of like Nerd, and then just thought that wasn't the style he wanted to go with at that moment, and never dropped it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he was very prolific. He was almost always in the studio, and so much of it is amazing. Watching movies I chose over Swimming because Watching Movies I feel like is a better picture into Mac Miller, or at least Mac Miller at the time. I never met him, obviously. I never even got to go to a show, which is one of my biggest regrets in life so far. But you have, like, you can still tell that he's kind of like a starry-eyed kid that's been thrown into fame on this album, but he also started going into like heavier drugs, became more of an alcoholic, and this sound defined what he would use for what came afterward.
Yeah. It kind of set the tone for the next however many albums he made after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something that I noticed in the other interviews was that at some point or another we came up to the topic that the person had like found this album at a particularly formative time in their life, so that was something that stuck with them. And I'm not trying to get you to tell your life story or anything, but do you find that to be true as well?
Yes, 100%.
Kenny was going through it in 2013.
Yeah, middle school was not
nobody liked middle school.
Nobody liked middle school. Middle school is hell. If anyone's in middle school and happens to stumble across this, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, first of all, I'm so very sorry.
Yeah, you could not pay me to go back to that. High school was better.
High school also still sucks.
High school still sucks, but high school is head and shoulders above middle school.
True.
College is better. Life is just a constant uphill slope from middle school.
We're gonna be real for a minute. If you're in middle school and you're listening to this, if you're in high school and you're listening to this, it's gonna get better, buddy. Just hang on. Like, it's gonna be okay.
For real. I found this album middle school pretty much is when I made, it's pretty much when, like, my taste as my music taste was created. I feel like if you made, like, a montage of all the times I mentioned middle school in this podcast, it would be like...
It would be a lot.
It would be like its own podcast.
Just by you saying that to me, I can think of many, many times. We could make a whole episode.
Yep.
If you took a supercut of you saying middle school and me calling people dumb, we would have a full-length episode, I believe.
Probably. But that's when I found Queens of the Stone Age, which is my favorite band. That's when I found Mac Miller, who's my favorite artist. That's when I found Earl Sweatshirt. That's when I found and the rest of Odd Future. Earl Sweatshirt is probably second favorite rapper. He worked a lot with Mac as well.
I almost asked who your first favorite was.
Well, since you asked, it would probably be Mac Miller.
Who's Mac Miller? What's a Mac Miller?
But going back to the album, I'd heard nothing like it before. I still am not sure if there's another album like it sonically.
Outside of Mac Miller's discography, or just in general?
Just in general. His discography, like, he has songs that, like, he has a style, but his discography, I don't think ever gets this dark, like, sound-wise. Like, The Star Room, like, he never brings back Delusional Thomas after The Star Room, and then he made a mixtape of it, which is actually my second introduction into Mac Miller, which is him experimenting with horrorcore. I'm Not Real, that, like, choral background to it, I think was produced by Earl Sweatshirt, but that still gives me goosebumps sometimes in listening to it. It's really special, in my opinion. Shit, what was I talking about?
I don't know, but we'll just I'll here we go. Okay, so let's go into the tracks.
Okay.
So give me your top three.
Top three. I'm Not Real has to be in it. The rest of them is like trying to pick children. Because I could throw out Someone Like You. I could throw out Objects in the Mirror. I could throw out Red Dot Music. I Am Who I Am. Bird Call. The Star Room. Avian. G's. Suplexes. Remember means Yeah, a lot of them.
I'm Not Real was also my favorite song.
Okay. What would be your top 3?
I would go I'm Not Real. Suplexes inside of complexes and duplexes. I like that title a lot.
Yeah.
And Objects in the Mirror.
Okay. I like his singing voice also.
Yeah.
Critics do not.
They're dumb.
They're dumb. I felt like pointing that out. But I love his singing voice.
So let's go with I'm Not Real.
I'm Not Real.
What do you like about I'm Not Real so much?
It has Earl on it.
It does have Earl on it. That was what stood out to me.
Yeah.
Immediately.
There's like a 4-ish album run, I believe, or 4-ish project run, I guess, because 2 of them are mixtapes, where Earl was on Mac's album, Mac was on Earl's album, and then Earl was on 2 of Mac's projects afterward. And then I think Earl released I Don't Like Shit, and then they never collaborated again. But that wasn't because of beef. It was just like not
creative differences or something. Yeah,
not where they were at that moment.
Yeah. Are they on the same label?
They are not.
Okay, so they were just chilling for real. Well, do you know what label Earl Sweatshirt is on?
No, I used to know that shit.
Well, Mac Miller's on Warner Brothers. I read that.
Okay, I used to know that shit. I don't.
The industry sucks. Let's just be honest.
The industry sucks. The whole like rap people being proud of their label is kind of dumb. He
was on Warner.
Okay.
Warner is his current, I believe, is what this Wikipedia article says. So maybe.
Okay. I'm not like the production in I'm Not Real is really good.
Yep.
I love the like choral background, and then there's nothing besides just the drum to keep time. I'm kind of a sucker for like vocal loops and background of rap songs in general. So take that as you will, but I love it. I always love his flow on almost anything he does.
Yeah.
I like the lyrics as well. Like the clouds are gray, but would you pay the price to paint them white? The lyrics on the album, just general overarching, I feel like are a really good are a good representation of who Mac Miller is as a person. But like, I think just like through all the highs and the lows of this, you can really tell who he was, because he has like G's is like a funny song. You can tell when he's like not being serious and just like his sense of humor, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you can tell when he's not being or when he is being serious, and you can tell that there's that like whole duality of him.
Yeah, I think his personality does come through a lot in this album. In a lot of positive ways.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much as Swimming. I think maybe that's what I liked about Swimming, so it felt more like personable to me. I don't know. I'd have to listen to both of them again.
Okay, this one I feel like is a lot funnier than Swimming.
It definitely is. But like, you know, I didn't come here for a stand-up routine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this is my least favorite Mac song that I've heard.
Which would be
Claymation.
All right. Well, this is supposed to be positive, but we can take a minute to shit on Claymation if you want. What's up with Claymation?
I don't like almost.
So this is only on the
bonus edition.
The
it's a bonus track.
Edition. Yep.
I really like Okay, because it's Tyler.
Yeah.
Being Tyler.
Yeah.
And Mac being Mac.
I also liked it. Yeah.
And they're just shooting the shit. Not Claymation. Sorry, Goosebumps. I don't know what I'm thinking.
I was like, I was like, yeah, we can. Yeah, Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. That like, I don't like the trumpet doing the wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Just looped. I thought that was annoying. His lyrics on it are fine. The chorus I think is kind of grating.
It gets old.
It gets old
before the song is over.
Before the song is over, I'll like go back to the song, and be like, maybe I'm just sleeping on it. I'll be like, wow, the verse isn't bad, and then like, the production's kind of shitty though, and then like I'll get to the chorus, and I'm like, oh, that's why I don't like it. Yeah. What do you think of it?
Of Goosebumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was so on the production. I was so on the verse, and then the chorus came, and I was like, oh boy. I was like, we made it so far into the album before I had to hear that. And I was like,
yeah.
Not for me. Sounds like not for you either.
Not for me.
So not for Mac Miller fans, not for non-Mac Miller fans.
Yeah. I'm speaking on behalf of every Mac Miller fan.
Yep. You know what? You're not from Pittsburgh.
I'm not.
Like most of the other Mac Miller fans that I know are. But I will give you the authority to speak on behalf of not only all Mac Miller fans, but all people of Pittsburgh.
Okay, just clarifying. You were not from Pittsburgh either,
nope.
Correct?
Nope. Cool. Not even close.
Glad we're just... we have that authority.
Yeah.
God-given authority.
By the power vested in me to talk shit about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I don't know. I could talk about Mac Miller forever, but when it comes to this album, I don't know. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we got everything.
Okay. Side note, you know how in the explicit version there's like parent advisory like in between his legs when he's at the table naked?
I didn't notice that. Oh. I see it now.
Yeah, there's some tasteful censoring of that. But on the...
Take it away.
On the clean version, there's a tablecloth over the table which covers it up. Which leads me to believe that the explicit content thing is like still there under the table. He's just like put a cloth over it.
Just put a cloth over it. I like that. Yeah, because it does look like, I don't know, the album cover just looks like he's got it like held between his legs, not that it's like in front of the table or anything.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, anything else you want to add?
What do you think of Red Dot Music? I want to go to that one because I think that one stands out very well in the that's one with Action Bronson and also Loaded Lux.
Yes. I really liked, I don't know, it felt like it wasn't one of my favorites.
Okay.
I don't know, it just didn't click with me.
Okay.
I don't know why. I feel like maybe it was because it came right after Objects in the Mirror, which I did really like.
Okay, yeah.
So it was like, from a great song to a song that just didn't click with me.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, like, necessarily, that I can think of off the top of my head, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just talking about his personality, or going back to, like, who he is as a person.
Yeah.
The fact that he got a battle rapper from, I think, World Star.
Yeah.
To write a diss track of him, and then he put it in the album.
Yeah. It's a cool idea.
It's a really cool idea.
You don't have anything else, that's gonna be it, and we'll be seeing you folks next time. You wanna say bye? Or you just gonna...
Bye.